Welcome again to another mapping video. In this video, we're going to talk about what story maps are and how you can go about constructing one, and even putting story map applications into other story map applications. So let's get started. In the summer of 2016, we worked with the Program for Environmental and Regional Equity, or PEER, down at USC to make a website for their Changing States report. So, among other things that we did, we created this application that would allow you to look at state level data. But also, what we did was we created a series of interactive maps that would be useful to explore the conditions for change. That is, what needs to be present in states for progressive change to take hold. And we used ArcGIS and Esri story maps to kind of catalog those. And so there are different conditions for change. We have demography, economy, politics, and geography. What we did was we created a story for each one of these and then a few others. This is called a story map journal. It allows you to provide a very curated, very linear experience for your user, that you have text, images, video, what have you on the left, the sideline, and then in the main stage you can have images, videos, maps, or even embedded website content. In this case, a mapping application using another story map component. So as you can see, we've got over here in the sideline text, a working video, and then in the right we have this nice swipe map that allows us to look at data. We're going to look into how to create the basic building blocks of one of these and then put them all together so that you can have this very neat dynamic multimedia presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and click out of this. Here we are in a map. A map is the basic unit of things that you're going to work with when you're making story maps of this type. This particular map is just about showing one variable. That's the midterm voter turnout. See, we've got it set for an average of all these things. I created this map by joining an existing layer from Esri called, USA State Boundaries, and then joining that to a table of state data that was gleaned from the Changing States report. Here I've got another mapping app, or another regular map. It's midterm voter registration. So here we got voter turnout, we got registration. What we wanted to do was create a way of quickly checking the difference between how many people are registering to vote and then how many people are actually going to vote. So let's get to building a map. I'm going to take you through creating a trial account for ArcGIS. I'm going to go ahead and create a public account. As you can see, it's auto-populating with Chris's credentials. What I just entered here is a nice trick with Gmail, that you can put in your email address, then a plus, and then whatever you want at gmail.com. This works with your UCSC address too. And the service will treat it as a completely different email address, but you can just sign right in. All the emails come to your normal email account. It's very useful for signing up for trial subscriptions and stuff. There we go. We've got a new dummy account. I'm going to go ahead and go to My Content. And I'm going to create a new map. The map I'm going to create two maps. And from them, we're going to create a swipe map. This is an application with Esri Story Maps that allows you to swipe in between two maps. As you can see, we've got the voter registration on the left, voter turnout on the right. Very neat. We're going to create one of those, but we just need to make 2 maps. I'm going to add a new layer. Let's search for a layer from ArcGIS Online. Let's say water or something. How about California census districts? Assembly districts, that'll do. There we go, we've got some stuff going on. I'm going to save it. I'm also going to make it publicly available. This is very important if you ever want to share anything, that you have to check this box that says make this shared with everyone. That's good. I'm going to go back to my content, wherever that is. I'm going to create a second map. And likewise, I'm just going to add some random layer. There we go. This isn't for anything, so I don't care. I'm going to save it. Share this to public also. And I'm done with this. I'm just going to go back to my profile and back to my content. So we've got our 2 maps. Now we want to create a swipe map. I'm going to search for Esri story maps. You should definitely check out this site on your own time and just see what people are making with these. Some of them are very complicated, and some of them look complicated, but are actually well within the ability of anybody with some basic abilities to make. So I'm going to go over to apps, scroll down to a swipe map, and hit build. Another way that you can do that is to go to My Stories and create my first story. So, welcome to Swipe Map / Spyglass Builder. What it's doing is that it's asking you to look for an existing web map that you want to use, or give them the ID of the map that you want. I'm just going to hit the magnifying glass, and then it'll allow me to search for my content or search for anywhere else. But I'm just going to use this. The vertical bar layout is the one that I want to use. I want this to be the type of thing where there's 2 web maps. I had map 1 in the first, I want map 2 in the second. I don't care about all this stuff. Play around with these on your own. Now, first thing I'm going to do is save, just so that I don't forget. And also make sure that it's shared publicly. Next thing I want to do, now as you can see on the left I have that one map, which is something or other, and then on the right I have the other maps, which are something else. I want to have this centered around here. So I'm going to go into the settings, go to extent, and change I'm going to draw a new map extent so that it's just the state of California. And that should do it. Small screen problems. Go ahead and save that. So what does this look like to people who would see it? Isn't that neat? You can imagine this would look really good if it was actually data that had anything to do with each other that you'd actually put time into, but I'm just showing you how to use the tool, not how to actually make something useful. So I also told you that I was going to show you how to make something cool, like okay, I already closed it, but we're going to make one of those story map journals, and I'll show you how to embed this application inside another application. Here I am on Thomas's stories. I'm going to hit create a new story, and I'm going to make a map journal. Present a narrative in a scrolling side panel. I like that layout. Hey, I don't even have to tell you what's up. It's asking me what I want to have in the main stage. The main stage is this big thing. It can be 70% or 40% or 50%. You can have a map, an image, a video, or a web page. If we wanted just to have one of our maps, I could just select it from right here. That would be no problem. But we want to have that sweet swipe map. But you'll notice that when I want to select one, that's not one of the options. We'll have to do something else slightly different. That I just need to get the public address for this thing, or for this map, and copy it. Paste it in here, and at the very end of it, add the following: an ampersand, that's the and sign, embed. That's what is needed to get this thing in there. Ampersand embed. If you are embedding a map that you had created on the UCSC server, then you would be missing this S. You need to have that S there, or else the swipe map won't show. I'm just going to set it to fill. Next, we can have side panel content. Here I've got some stuff that I copied from the other one. I gotta do that in the code. Whoops. So, what does it end up looking like? I've got text. I can have video in there. This could take a little bit. There it is. So hey, we've got a working swipe map. And we've got side content that is explaining that is there to contextualize it. And that didn't seem to be too hard now, did it? So, if there are any limitations, it is mainly that we're kind of jamming things together that weren't necessarily designed to do that. So as you can see, it doesn't look so good if you have a whole bunch of extra side information and a legend and everything over here, so you'll have to do a lot of tweaking to try and get it to look good the way that you want it to. Not all mapping applications can be embedded into other applications, but other than that, I really encourage you to play around with all these things.